further delay, I will turn it over to Julia.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for coming today. I know you're in the final stretch of your semester and you've got a lot going on and you've got exams and other presentations you're thinking about doing. So thank you for coming to this workshop and we'll try to make it as useful to you as possible. So let's just all take a breath. So what is the clicker, sorry. Okay, so just the agenda today. By the way, I am Julia Beyer. I'm an SOC career advisor. My colleague Felicia Parks in the back is also an SOC career advisor. Are either of you SOC? I also see SPA students. You're SPA? Oh, what are you?
Washington semester program.
Washington semester program. Okay, great. Thanks for letting us know. So we are here to talk about how to maintain your balance in juggling work and school. So we're touching on these four main areas, how to maintain your balance in small steps. Because when we're thinking about the internship or job search, the job search is a much longer time frame. On average, how many months do you think it takes to find a job in the United States? I'm talking the United States. And anybody on Zoom can also guess, put in a guess in the chat. Go for it, guess, throw something out.
And from your start search.
So it's 2 months in the chat.
2 months.
2 months. Maybe a bit longer.
So on average, we say the job search takes 6 months. 6 months. So it could take less than that. It could take more than that. The internship search definitely would be significantly less than that. That time frame could be anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to 4 weeks. And Felicia, jump in, or Emily, jump in if there's anything else you want to add about this. So that's why it's really important to think about when you're ready to make that transition to looking for a full-time job. Think of it as a long-term project. And that's why it's important to factor in balance and how you're going to sustain yourself if you're going to endure kind of a longer period of time or a longer search. Now, that's not to say that's what's going to happen. Some people find a job before they graduate. Sometimes people find a job in 2 or 3 months after they graduate. It depends on the field you're in, the industry that you want to go into. But I would say for most college graduates, there tends to be a gap between the time they finish school and they find their first opportunity outside of school. So it's good to think about if that's the position you think you're going to be in, depending on what you're studying, how competitive you are in the job market, the skills that you offer, the network that you have. Those are all important pieces of the puzzle when you're looking for an opportunity. So managing stress, how do we manage stress? If we can make informed decisions about our strategy, the kinds of opportunities we're looking for, making sure we're spending our time wisely. Has anybody sent an application in and down the black hole and never heard back? Like you applied to someplace and then you just never heard from them? Yeah. Anybody on Zoom? When you're applying to things online, it's kind of a numbers game. It's the more applications you send out, the more you increase your chances of success. But applying online is not the only way to look for an opportunity. So we're going to talk about how to collect data to manage stress, to make sure you're making an informed decision about your search. Maintaining a positive outlook. This is really critical. Being able to sort of have outlets to manage the time frame it takes to find an opportunity. If you like exercising or you do a hobby or socializing, making sure you build in breaks for yourself. So that's a really important part of the search that not everybody talks about, is maintaining a positive outlook. Because there is a fair number of rejection that comes with putting yourself out there and applying for opportunities. So, but you don't want that to impact you personally. You want to be able to remain positive. Okay, identifying tasks and actions that are within your control. That's the last one. So what's within your control in the job search? Because there's factors that are outside your control, and then there's factors that are within your control. So let me flip back. What are some things within your control? And anyone in the chat can also put some ideas. Felicia.
I know for me, it's the time of day and how much time I put into any type of project, and the job of the project, the length of time.
So you get to decide how much you set aside to work on this, like the amount of time, the frequency that you work on this throughout the week, identifying pockets of time that you have to devote to this. And I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but you also raise your hand. You can introduce yourself. Anna. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, maybe just how you react. to the situation, How you
Absolutely.
react to the situation, but I know I have been struggling with that in college.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes, how you react.
yeah, it's Hannah.
Hannah, nice to meet
Sorry,
you.
I was,
That's okay. That's okay. So exactly, how you react to somebody letting you know you're not moving forward in the search. And another thing that you can do is ask people, can you give me feedback about what I can do the next time to revise and reflect and think about how I could do better in the interview? Or if you've gotten to the interview stage, you know that your applications are pretty strong, because that's the first hurdle, is making sure applications are polished. And that's what we can help you with as career advisors, making sure they look really good. But then, once you get to the interview stage, some people get stuck there, and they interview and they're like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. Getting feedback from people is really something that you can do constructively. And not to say that everyone is going to give you feedback or that they're obligated to give you feedback, but I would say take the opportunity to ask if they have any feedback for you. So, because then otherwise you don't really know, right, all the time. Or maybe you do know, and reflecting on the interview that you went through, oh, that was that question that I messed up. Now I know what to do next time. That's different. And feel free to, by the way, jump in with any questions at any time. Interrupt. Okay, so the first thing I like to think about is how clear you are on your goals. That is within your control. So I wanted to share that we offer a couple self-assessments in the Career Center, the Myers-Briggs, the Strong Interest Inventory. And these are assessments to help you think about who you are and your interests and your skills. And if you're not sure about your direction, and nobody, by the way, has to be 100% sure about what they want. I mean, nobody is 100% sure. And by the way, there is no one job or internship that's perfect for you. There's multiple opportunities that could be a good fit for you. And that's why it's good to sort of put your feelers out and make sure that you explore all of those areas that could be a potential good fit for you. So those are self-assessments we offer here for free in the Career Center. Takes half an hour to take one of them. I don't know, has anyone taken the Myers-Briggs before? That's a popular one. Have you heard of that one? It's one of the most popular assessments in the world, but it's a personality assessment, so that is one that you can take. And then another one is the Strong Interest Inventory, which is also good for first and second year students in particular. What year are you, both of you?
I'm in my last year of my bachelor's degree.
Okay, senior, and what are you? Sophomore. Okay, great. And you're a graduate student. Yeah. Okay, so being clear on what you want, because of course it all starts from there, because writing your resume, writing your cover letter, telling your stories, that all stems from knowing a little bit about who you are and what you're looking for. So secondly, applying the 80-20 rule to tap into the hidden job market. Has anybody ever heard of the hidden job market before? Never heard of it before. So hidden job market is basically a majority of jobs, they say like 70 to 80% of jobs are not advertised. They're not advertised. That is the hidden job market. So if a good majority of jobs are never advertised, how do you know how to apply to them? Like, what are you supposed to do to find out about these jobs?
If I'm not wrong, because I'm from Norway,
Yes,
and I think that is illegal in Norway. I think all job has to be
that's it.
put on the market.
That's a
so,
good point.
yeah.
That's a good point. And there's definitely laws for within the United States too, and you would know them better about.
Yeah, the funny thing about the laws in the US is that the Department of Labor requires you to have a record for every single company, every single position. So, yeah, I can list all the people that are in the office and the positions and who did I recruit for those positions and how I close them. But I can post it online for 24 hours and take it off, and you never see it, because of that short period of time. But yeah, there are definitely still laws doing it. It may not be that fun title you see on your business card, maybe more generic, if this many people are in an administrative role or technical role for each company, but yeah, so there are laws.
Yeah. Also, sometimes a new job is created. And they may not necessarily advertise that, because they have somebody in mind internally in the office. So yeah, that is a good point. Thank you for bringing that international perspective, which is important. So the way around that is networking. And we're going to talk about some important events coming up that are still coming up in the semester here. For you to engage with employers and to go, did anyone go to the career fair or go to any networking events this semester? Not yet.
We had one in our program. We have internships, so we have this internship here.
Internship fair. Good.
It was digital.
Oh, it was all online. And how did that go for you? How was your experience?
I found my internship elsewhere, but it was hard to network online because you were in these like small Zoom rooms, and it was, I don't know, it was harder to have like an informal conversation with people.
Okay, so it was when you're in the Zoom room, were you with a group or was it one-on-one?
Yeah, it was like people would jump in and out, so you could be alone and then it could be like people coming in, so it's very.
I see. So kind of can interrupt maybe a little bit of your conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so networking online is very different from networking in person, but we have a lot more hybrid and in-person events. And when people are interested in connecting with employers, I strongly recommend, if you have the option to go in person, to prioritize going in person. Because I think, as Emily has witnessed a lot this semester, and Darnice in the back, is the people that come in person to these programs with employers talking about the different opportunities have a higher quality, connection with them, because they can actually see them face to face and ask them follow-up questions, which it's very difficult to do when you're on Zoom. So, okay, so networking. So other things within your control, your application materials. So of course, that means your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile. Does everybody have a LinkedIn profile? Excellent. It's very important in the United States to have a LinkedIn profile. I don't know about in Norway or Taiwan, but in the United States, it's essential to have a LinkedIn profile if you're looking for opportunities here, because it's part of maintaining your online brand. So Felicia and I work with a lot of communication students, and they have online portfolios on top of LinkedIn profiles, on top of maintaining their social media platforms, multiple platforms that they're on. So on their online portfolio, they might put photography, they might put graphic design, they might put video, they might put press releases, anything, like any writing pieces that they publish. So, but LinkedIn is good for all students, even if you're not necessarily going into communication, where you can share samples of your work. You can share a sample of a paper you've written. You can share a sample of a presentation you created. I even put all my presentations up on my LinkedIn profile because we post these on YouTube. So these are all samples, active samples of your work. And so it goes a step beyond the resume where you're telling people what you're doing, and instead it actually shows an example of what you're doing. So your materials are very important to be ready to go and proofread, and that's what we can also help you with one-on-one in the Career Center. So we talked about networking a little bit, interviewing skills, of course, like we talked a little about getting feedback on your interviews. And by the way, nobody is 100% confident interviewer. I mean, absolutely nobody, no matter how many years of experience you have, you're always going to be a little bit nervous and you're always going to have a little bit of self-doubt, but that's normal. Everybody feels that way. And in fact, you want to be alert. You want to be on. You want to be kind of excited. You want to have that adrenaline pumping through your body because you want that energy to come across to that employer. You don't want to feel like, you don't want to come across as kind of down and, scared, you want to kind of fake the confidence, right? You fake it till you make it. So those interviewing skills, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And by the way, when you're networking, we do something a lot here in the DC area, informational interviewing. Have you heard of informational interviewing at all before? So it's pretty much, you reach out to somebody and you're just seeking advice for them. You're not asking them for a job. You're just wanting to learn more about what they do or the organization they work in, the kinds of things that they're looking for someone to be successful in that type of job. And what some people don't realize is that they can reach out to AU alumni in this area and get some advice. And it's kind of like the way you would sit down and with a career advisor, your academic advisor, sit down and get some information and get some advice. You can do that with anybody, and it doesn't even have to be an AU alum. It can just be somebody who's interesting, who you just want to have a conversation with and learn more about. I don't know about other parts of the country with informational interviewing, but like in this area, like when you say, oh, I would love to talk with you and get some advice for like 10-15 minutes for an informational interview, most people get that. They understand what that is. Or you could just say, I just want to talk with you for 5 to 10 minutes, and learn more about what you do. And most people respond to you, not all, but most, as long as you are targeted and you're clear about why you're reaching out to them. And this is a very proactive way to identify opportunities and explore and collect information and data, not just sitting back and researching like, oh, here's the advertised list of jobs today, but this is a very proactive way to get this information. Okay, what's not within your control? We have this explosive volcano, all of this stuff has been going on in the economy. It seems like, we've heard these tech companies are having layoffs and it's kind of trickling down to some of these other companies. But companies are still hiring. And by the way, don't discount the holiday time as not a good time to look for opportunities. It's actually a good time to look for opportunities because some job seekers might think, oh, employers aren't going to be recruiting around this time. And you can speak to this as a former recruiter, actually, because some companies might have, their budgets by the end of the year, they still might have money to hire. And in January, they might be, again, renewing that cycle to hire again. So don't discount December, January, November, December, January timeframe is a bad time to look for opportunities. There's still a lot of opportunities. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I remember I blogged about it, and they still hire people throughout because they don't have many people applying unless they have a New Year's resolution to have a new career. So you don't have, a lot of times, as many applicants, or they might be trying to rush the process along. So they want somebody to start at the beginning of the year.
So it might work to your advantage to be looking now, because I get so many students who are like, is it too late for me to apply for internships? I'm like, well, maybe some, but like not all internships go by academic year. They're hiring interns throughout the whole year. I mean, you look at Handshake, where we post all our jobs and internships, and there's all kinds of internships there all the time that you can apply to. So I don't think saying like, oh, it's the end of the semester, there's nothing, well, look, like, take a look, do a search, you know? Okay, so COVID, so the format in which you work, you know, if you're looking for opportunities, you can think if you want hybrid, fully in person or remote. It seems like the majority of jobs are hybrid or remote. I mean, customer service, you know, restaurant, retail jobs are obviously full in person, but I think a lot of professional oriented type jobs where you might be doing internships related to what you're studying. Probably the majority of them are hybrid or remote. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you can actually search for that in Handshake.
Yeah. Oh, so, yeah, we talked about throwing your applications down the black hole, not hearing back. Also finding not just people who work in different fields that you're interested in networking, but finding recruiters. Because now when you go on Handshake, not in every opportunity you pull up, but in a lot of them, you can, is a recruiter is embedded in it. And same with LinkedIn, a recruiter is embedded in the job descriptions a lot of times, not with all the jobs. So that gives you a wonderful opportunity to follow up with a human being behind that posting to get some more information about the job search. So, okay, so I wanted to pull up a few other resources that are really outstanding for collecting data. So I'm just going to switch here and go to, we'll start with ONET since that's the first one that comes up here. And this is information, as you can see, sponsored by the US Department of Labor. So of course, I don't know if you guys are looking for opportunities in the United States. So this is just focused on the United States. It would be another conversation for international opportunities. But what this is really useful for is you can look up any occupation and get more information about that occupation. So anyone on Zoom or YouTube, is there an application an occupation you're interested in looking up off the top of your head?
Communications advisor.
Communications advisor. Okay, well, we're communications advisors. Communications, so when I start typing it in, it starts popping up with some suggestions. So it may not have exactly the title that we pop in here, but it'll try its best to come up with. This one actually doesn't have many, down here is media and communications workers. So just using this, yeah, media communications. Okay, so just using those keywords, you come up with this list of best matches. It looks like a list of 20 occupations. And the ones that have this bright sunshine means that they're hiring. So that's really exciting. It's not to say that these other areas are not hiring. It's just the hiring is maybe a little slower or below average. So let's just take, is there one that like here that you see that you wouldn't mind looking into further?
Public relations specialist.
Okay, so good news about public relations specialists, because Felicia and I work with these majors. And here, by the way, the whole variety of titles that a public relations specialist potentially has, because I don't know about other countries, but in the United States, there's like multiple titles for different jobs. So you're always never, just searching on one title. You could basically search any of these titles. And so this is a good place to find what those titles are that you maybe would like to search on. And so basically, this kind of walks through, obviously, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, the knowledge, skills, work activities, training, just more information about the job. It looks like majority of public relations specialists have a college degree, not necessarily a master's degree. And then this is actually the strong interest code, which is related to one of the assessments that we offer. But if you scroll down, then it shows information about salary. So the median wages, this is across the entire country. So this is not in Washington, because in Washington, you're going to get a higher salary, you know? And then you have projected growth faster than average, 8 to 10%. This is great news for our public relations majors. There's hiring, it's faster. Not only is there hiring, it's faster than average. So it's a great field. And then you also have some related occupations that you could look up more: marketing research analyst, advertising and promotion, and then also some associations or groups. So in the United States, we have these associations where people come together and network and present information about trends going on the field. They have conferences. So you can find all those kinds of groups related to that interest area there. And then this also links to another resource I was going to highlight, which is the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And so, yeah, it has these both listed in the presentation. And so we'll share the presentation with you so you can find your way back to these resources. But so this, again, it gives you information about the role, what level of education, salary, projected hiring, also how to become one, how to become a public relations specialist, what degree they're looking for potentially in this field, which is a range. It's a range: public relations or communications or social science or business. So it looks like there's many different areas in which you can major to get into that field. Similar occupations where you can look through, like we saw before, the list of other occupations. And Felicia, let me know if there's anything else you like to highlight from these tools that I
go to salary, because I think a lot of times down here is just pay. You're trying to figure out a range. And some of us have had that experience. You apply for a job and they contact you for the phone interview. One of the things they'll say to you is, what's the salary you're looking for? And you're like, whatever the highest amount that you're gonna pay. And this is awkward to answer them not giving you the amount. So at least you have some sense as to what you could ask for. And then you can personalize what Julia just showed you by putting in your zip code. So New York and DC is definitely gonna be a lot higher than Bismarck, North Dakota.
And what's really useful, thank you, is the breakdown, like government versus business, the different, or versus working in education. Doesn't look like a huge difference there, except
There is a nonprofit, but you definitely see a huge difference.
yeah,
Significantly lower.
yeah. So these are wonderful tools that, and this one is the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which I think is under the Department of Labor anyway. But anyway, so that's where this information comes from. So those are two great resources. So another one I want to highlight, has anyone heard of We Know Success? Okay, so if you just Google We Know Success or go to american.edu/We Know Success, this is where, I mean, if you're looking at undergrad or graduate programs, I'd be like, look at the data about where people are hired 6 months after they graduate. And this is where you can find that information. We collect this data in the Career Center, and you can look up your program 6 months after graduation. So would you like to look up your program?
Yes.
Because I wonder, so you had said data analytics, data science. That's, I think, in the College of Arts and Sciences, right?
Yes.
Let's see if we can find it. Here we go. I haven't looked up this one before. So we see master's students in data science. Pretty good overall statistic. 95% are working or in grad school or both 6 months after graduation. So the breakdown for your fellow students when they're done with their program, over half are working for private sector. then 30% are working for nonprofit, then 7% are working for government. And so, of course, you can look up any program here. And here are a list of employers where some of your fellow students found jobs. So this is not like a super, super long list, this is a pretty easy list to work through. Some of the lists, because, some of the programs are bigger than others. Some of them have like a long list of employers to work through, which if you wanted to broaden and look at just College of Arts and Sciences or just graduate students, you can. So yeah, so there's just a list of employers there, and then also gives you some information about salary ranges. And then we still need to get more information about where they're interning. I'm wondering when that's going to update. But yeah, so how many participated in an internship? So that is a really, really great tool to sort of look at overall what industry your fellow students are in, and then specifically which employer that they found an opportunity. Does anyone have any questions or anything? And then while I'm here, I also wanted to go to LinkedIn. So if you haven't built up a LinkedIn profile, I would recommend this. This is called the LinkedIn profile checklist. And you can Google this, or we can put this in the chat. But this is a very comprehensive tool to build up your profile and make sure that the sections that are important are there. So I wanted to bring up American University because that is where you're going to find American University, the whole community, students, alumni, staff. And so you can do this with any university in the United States. I don't know about around the world. I haven't tried that, but if you look up AU first, and then you look under the alumni tab, you see this list of 130,000 plus alumni, where they work, where they live, what they do, what they skilled at, what they studied. And this is where you could go about finding people who you might want to reach out to for those informational interviews. Is there a keyword somebody wants to search right now for fun? How about data science? Just to look up some data science people. Would you be interested in finding people who are working in data science? So I'm just picking on you because you're here. But if we just plug in any keyword there, and you have 6,000 something people who have data science in their profile, and it shows where they're working first. And you can scroll down and see, oh, look, she has intern in her headline. And she also, do you know this person? Because it looks like this person's also in the data science master's program. And they're interning right now at World Justice Project as a data analytics intern. So that is where you can get ideas about different internships and different opportunities and people to reach out to. And as you can see, you can search in this box by a job title, by a keyword, by a company name, if there's a specific company you want to work for and you want to pull up people who work at that company. So this is an extremely powerful tool. I think of this as a database where you can research different career paths, different people to reach out to, and also with any organization. Is there an organization somebody's interested in working off the top of your head that you'd love to check out for fun? Deloitte. Deloitte.
Yeah, Deloitte. I just keep like thinking of the regional.
You can just pick one, yeah, one that's already listed here. So you could see the people that are at Deloitte because we're still on the AU page. But if you can either search for Deloitte up in the search box here, or you can just click on in someone's profile, click on the company Deloitte. So look, they're ranked on LinkedIn as a top company to work for. Oh, that's good to know, when you're trying to figure out what companies have good reputations, where is it good to work. And then you can click on their people tab, just like AU has their alumni tab. You can click on their people tab, and this is literally like an organizational directory of all the people there. So Deloitte is huge. It's got 437,000 employees. I mean, this organization, this company is a monster. I mean, it's huge, it's giant. Obviously, not all companies are that big. But you see somebody here who's a campus recruiter, like a lot of campus recruiters, actually. Those might be good people to reach out to. And then as you're looking at a company page, you can also see on the right, people who viewed that company also viewed Ernst & Young, also viewed PricewaterhouseCoopers, Accenture. Those are all similar companies to KPMG, Deloitte. And then also shows people who you're connected to, who work there. So this is just a really powerful tool in the United States. There's a lot of social platforms, but this is like the number one, like you have to be on if you want to find people to reach out to who are in your field of interest, and if you want to find AU alumni. So really, really important tool. Yeah.
Just because I sit in my top right-hand corner, and you all may have noticed that Julia mentioned updating your profile. When you update your profile, it also has like a calling technology. So based on Julia's profile, you see that there's 3 talent services positions that popped up and said, you might be good for this. So it's just another way to help kind of relax your nerve that there could be some job titles you're not familiar with, but the keywords that are on your profile show up in their job description. Just another tool to help you find something.
Yeah, it's,
So
you know,
update your profile.
it's smart. It has an algorithm, and based on the keywords that you put in there, it starts suggesting jobs, just like Handshake. Handshake also has an algorithm, and based on the information you put in your profile under career interests, it pops up with some suggestions. Okay, so those are the main research tools I wanted to point out to you. So let's flip back to this. And okay, does anyone have any questions about any of those tools? Okay, so just a few other follow-up tips about the job search or internship search or any search really. Don't do it in isolation. Like even if you're trying to make a choice about college major, you know, you're trying to make a decision about clubs or activities you want to get involved in, any decision that you're trying to make, it's good to talk with as many other people as you can, you know, to get their input, to get their opinion, your classmates, your professors, you know, the staff at AU. So we already talked about the job search is kind of a long-term project, has many components. Also, you know, you start out having a strategy, but make sure you have a plan B and potentially a plan C. And that, you know, goes for the internship search too. Start out with a strategy, understanding the types of jobs you're looking for, whether you want hybrid, remote, or in person, location, you know, all those factors to think through. Another thing to help you prioritize what opportunities to look for is to write down some things that are important to you for the job to have, like what skills are important to you to be building, what kind of work environment do you want to, you know, be in, do you want to do research, or do you want to work a lot with other people and work with teams? Lots and lots of factors to evaluate with different opportunities. We also talked about kind of balance and making sure that you take breaks to avoid burnout. Just like you do with your schoolwork, you want to take breaks when you're looking for your next opportunity, and then try to establish realistic goals to do something kind of every day, even if it's something small, to work towards your goals. So that kind of leads me into this handout, which if you could share on the chat here. Because there's a lot of things you want. What are these two? I just edited it a little bit, but this is like originally, I think, Alicia's baby that she created. But so these are questions to review when you're thinking about what your plans are for after graduating, but these are also questions to think about as you're going through college, undergrad or graduate level. And included in here, embedded in here are also resources which we can share in an electronic copy too, that shares a link to We Know Success, what we talked about. Going Global is a resource that shows international opportunities if you're looking for opportunities abroad or for opportunities within other cities across the United States. We have a YouTube channel, which is like, you could get a master's in career development if you want to, if you watch our YouTube channel with all our videos about all the important parts of looking for your career and what you want to do with your life. And personal brands, networking, those are all things that we talked about. We have suggestions for informational interviews, the questions you would ask, things that you can consider when you're reaching out to people. So I just want to take 1 minute, and on the back of this sheet, and you can use this, the front, to kind of get you thinking about things you might want to do. But if you could just write down 3 things you're gonna do after this workshop.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot on this handout. It's jam-packed. So there's a lot of things to choose from here. Is anybody on Zoom or in person willing to share one thing that they're gonna commit to?
We do have a response in the chat.
Yay!
So one of the attendees, virtual attendees, said, I will start to take a look at what is my strength and weaknesses and try to improve and avoid what they can improve and avoid and start networking, trying to network.
Yay, congratulations, excellent goal. Anybody else want to share a goal? How about one person from in person?
I can share. I should build up my LinkedIn profile. It's not as big in Norway, so I just started using that. And I also am in a process deciding whether I should pursue my master's degree or try to search for a job. So I have to figure that out soon, I think. And then I can also get a better overview of job possibilities within my field.
Yay, excellent goals. Thanks for sharing, and we can also help you with that decision if you want to meet with a career advisor about considering graduate school options. We can also help you with that. Thank you for sharing some upcoming events that can help you. So this is just for the rest of the semester, our final push. If you're interested in any of these employers, they are still happening. You can still sign up to meet with them, and employer meetups are informational group sessions. So that's the first section, and it shows you which are hybrid and which are in person. It looks like the Peace Corps is fully in person, not hybrid. And then the second one is employer and residence. So these are one-on-one opportunities. This is informational meetings. So the employer and residence program is just meeting with somebody, maybe not you guys, in the US intelligence community, CIA, FBI, to get more information. But we have employers not just in the intelligence community, but also in other areas. But this is just what's for the rest of this semester. You can look for next semester what other employers that will be coming, where you can set up informational meetings with them. So these are set up basically for you, just have to sign up for them. And then the last one is an on-campus interview. So that's when you're actually interviewing for a specific job that a company is hiring for. So that's the difference between the meetups, the employer in residence, and the on-campus interviews. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight for next semester is our spring job and internship fair in person. So it's on Wednesday, March 29th from 1 to 4 p.m. And yeah. Is that wrong?
No, that's correct.
Okay.
I wanted to add, because you mentioned public relations or communication, there is a marketing and communication day that includes both a fair, traditional job fair, and then a networking reception follows that, and that's Wednesday, March the 1st. So the marketing and communication day is a smaller venue. It might be maybe 20 employers. Versus our job fairs are amazing, because we had 117 this fall, I think.
Yeah, pretty high, well over 100.
Yeah.
It's the pendulum is swinging back. The students want in person, and the employers are like finally registering. Bang, 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 bang. We need to get back in person, because it's just you can't duplicate the in-person interactions online. You just can't. It just doesn't. It's not an equal substitute. So definitely make it a priority to attend any in-person events. So you both showed up here today. Keep up the good work. Any questions about that? Those events? Okay, so this is just highlighting some other offices on campus that can provide support and resources. They have events, they have programs. They have staff that are fully devoted to supporting students and their well-being and balancing things. This is what you pay your money for to come to AU. So don't be afraid to tap into them as resources. And then this is just a final reminder that you can set up appointments with us in person or on Zoom. You can schedule on Handshake or by phone or email. And then of course our website has many virtual resources available 24/7 at american.edu/career center. And that's a wrap. Any other questions or thoughts from anybody on Zoom or in person? Okay, I hope you have a good rest of your day. I hope you find your balance. And just breathe. Remember to breathe.
Okay. Good luck, Sarah.